Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for December 11th. December 11th is the 345th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 346th in leap years, with 20 days remaining to the end of the year. I got a new external mic, and I think this will give us all a better sound quality. So, this is the maiden voyage of my new microphone. Let me know in the comments what you think of the sound quality. Alrighty, today's word is bravado. Bravado is a noun that means blustering, swaggering conduct, a pretense of bravery, or the quality or a state of being foolhardy. Basically, confident or brave talk or behavior that's intended to impress other people. The word bravado comes to us from Middle French, Old Spanish, Old Italian before that. First known use of the word bravado is 1580. And with that, Flavius Claudius Julianus lived from 331 to 363. Commonly known as the Emperor Julian, he was also a philosopher and an author in Greek. He rejected Christianity, which caused him to also be known as Julian the Apostate. In those days, the Roman Empire was huge, as we've mentioned before, and Julian had been put in charge of the western provinces by Emperor Constantius II. Seemed like there was always some fighting going on somewhere, whether it was along one perimeter or another, or internal civil wars, and in those days, the man in charge led the charge. Kings and emperors themselves led the charge at war, which tended to cause them to die a bit sooner. Interesting to note that Constantius II appointed Julianus to be in charge of the western regions, but they didn't really get along that well with each other, those two. It looked like they were going to have a showdown of their own, but that never happened because Constantius II became very ill in November of 361. He may have known he was dying because he named Julian as his rightful successor before he died. And so it is that on December 11th, 361, Julian entered Constantinople as sole emperor of the Roman Empire. By the way, in case you're wondering if this was the guy after whom the Julian calendar was named, no, that was Julius Caesar in like 45 BC. This Emperor Julian is a little over 400 years later. The Gregorian calendar then was initiated in 1582. Indiana became the 19th U.S. state on December 11, 1816. This is the birthday of American lawyer and politician Fiorello LaGuardia, born December 11, 1882. He was the 99th mayor of New York City and happened to be the mayor of New York City when they built the airport that bears his name. Fiorello LaGuardia lived to the age of 64. On December 11, 1934, Bill Wilson, co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, took his last drink and entered treatment for the final time. This is the birthday of American singer, songwriter, musician, and producer David Gates, born December 11, 1940. Perhaps best known for the group Bread, he was born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and was a contemporary of the late great Leon Russell back in the 1950s. After high school, he actually went to the University of Oklahoma to study law and pre-med, but he couldn't get music out of his system. Moved to Los Angeles in the early 1960s, where he worked as a studio musician and producer while also writing songs. In probably about 1968, he and some of his music buddies formed the group called Bread, which is where most of us will have heard of him. They had 13 songs chart on the Billboard Hot 100 between 1970 and 1977. Still married to his high school sweetheart, they had 4 children who did grow up to be doctors and lawyers. David Gates is retired now and living his best life with his dear wife in Mount Vernon, Washington. This is the birthday of American singer-songwriter Jermaine Jackson, born December 11, 1954. Part of the very famous musical family, the Jackson family, he was part of the Jackson 5 in the 1960s and 70s, still alive and still working. Now, we mentioned Fiorello LaGuardia a minute ago and the airport named after him. In addition, there's the John F. Kennedy Airport in New York City. On December 11th, 1978, there took place an event known as the Lufthansa Heist. This was a robbery of an estimated $5.875 million in cash and jewelry, approximately equivalent to $26.853 million in today's dollars as of December 2022. Was the largest cash robbery committed on American soil at the time. Purported to have been set up and led by Lucchese family associate Jimmy Burke, only one person was ever convicted in that robbery, an airport worker who helped plan the heist. This event is the subject of the 1991 TV movie The $10 Million Getaway and 2001's The Big Heist, and is also a key plot element in the movie Goodfellas. The song If is a soft rock song written by David Gates and performed by his group Bread in 1971. It charted at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and also spent 3 weeks in the number 1 spot on the U.S. Easy Listening chart. Lovely song, If, still gives me goosebumps. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.